Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and tonight I'm joined by Chris McElwain. We are here, of course, to talk about Ajax 1, Celtic 1. Overview of the first half, Chris, how did you see that going for Celtic there?
Yeah, good, enjoyable game to watch. Nice and competitive. Good individual performances there. A few standouts. It's been a good workout. Can't really think of anything overwhelmingly negative about the game, actually. Even the goal we conceded, I think, was a blatant handball, but cracking goal by Ajax. But I think largely we've been the better team, certainly the more controlled team throughout the match. You can see the quality in the Ajax squad, obviously, players like Robbie, for example. Yeah, a few of our boys really stood out. I think if I had to pick out some just off, first impressions, I would say, I think Adamida, who we spoke about pre-match, I've been very impressed at his ability to support our counter-attacking play by coming deep, winning the ball and being able to play it out. Kieran Tierney, I think, is showing his quality. That pass for the assist pass for the goal was phenomenal. The ball into Hatate. But what I've also liked about Kieran Tierney is his ability to come inside and help out Scales. Something that we didn't see a lot of from Greg Taylor. When there's been a threat from that left-hand side, on quite a few occasions, you've seen Kieran Tierney come in and take some responsibility in the box, which I've quite liked, which has been great. Young Dane Murray, I think the praise that he's had in the last few games has been absolutely merited, and he's a player that seems to be getting better and better, more composed and more assured every time. I thought he was excellent. There was one standout moment where he tracked the runner, showed his pace, showed his strength, didn't act rashly and forced the player into making a mistake, which was excellent. And I have to say another standout for me has been Nygren, who looks like he's a kind of player who can dictate the play from back to front. Really, really good movement, good ability to read the game. Very rarely wastes possession. He always looks to do something progressive and productive with the ball. He's done it from deep. He's done it from forward positions, and always seems to be available. He's been excellent. And you know what? I've got to give credit to Yang for the goal. Really composed finish, right place, right time. So credit to him for putting it away. But overall, I would say I think it's been a very enjoyable game to watch.
It has been enjoyable. I think the last two games were enjoyable as well. Sporting Lisbon, Newcastle, because what happens is you up the tempo, don't you, when you're up against better quality. We will be talking about the goal and obviously giving Yang as much praise as possible. You've already mentioned Nygren. He's getting a lot of good plaudits coming in from the comments, and quite rightly so. He's a steal. So far, listen, we're talking pre-season, we're talking friendlies, but so far, he's one of the guys that the ball sticks to him like glue. There was a moment where he fell and it looked as though he lost the ball, but he still stood up and still had it.
He's one of the guys. He uses his physique, and he's got this kind of way of standing and way of moving. He's very straight backed, the way he moves, and he kind of he shields players off. I really like the way he moves and the way he plays, and quick feet as well, very quick feet. He seems to have good close control. Like I say, he's not the kind of player I think that he doesn't give the ball up needlessly. He seems to hold on to the ball, but as soon as he sees what looks like a good opportunity, he will feed it. I like his decision making so far. I think his decision making has been excellent. So yeah, really, really impressed with him so far.
And all over the park, we've seen him popping up left wing, right through the middle. He can draw a foul. He did a couple of times just on the edge of the box. One of them actually wasn't given. It should have been given. But Nygren, for me, is one of the guys. We know the contract situation contributed to the transfer fee 1.7, but you're picking up a player in 2025 at 1.7 million pounds. It's absolutely nothing. It's loose change when you're talking about Champions League exploits, endeavours, ambitions. And you're able to somehow scout a guy that instantly, for me, improves your team. The discussion before the game, Chris, was that we are weaker now than we were last season. And listen, that's a discussion we can have. I think certain areas that at the moment are looking that way. But Nygren is quality we didn't have. When you look at that player in that team, Kieran Tierney's another one at left back who has added quality to the side. So listen, I will be as critical as an Knicks fan when it comes to a lack of business or a lack of ambition. But when I look at those two guys, who at the moment are the two first, what do we call them? Players for now versus players for later. They're guys that are players for now, and they have improved the starting 11 in my view, Chris.
I think so. I think the one thing that our midfield lacked, because we had quality in midfield, but I think the one thing we lacked was creativity. And I think you saw that whenever Hatate dropped out, either through injury or other reasons. But for me, Nygren's brought that. He's brought composure, but he's brought creativity. He's brought creativity into that team, and you see it. He's got this ability to, I think, read the game, and he can pick the right sort of pass. Also thought he showed brilliant technique. The early chance for Yang, the one that hit off the bar, and it bounces out. And Nygren's only thought is, I'm going to have a shot here, and it's a really difficult skill to take a volley like that. I mean, we see how many players do we see that blaze that flying over the bar. That was on target. That was very well taken first time, very early in the game. So, yeah, look, let's temper expectations. It is pre-season, but all you can ask of a player is to come in and really hit the ground running in terms of fitting into the team, contributing. A lot of the plays going through him. He's not a passenger in any way, shape, or form in this team. He's come in and he's committed and he's taken accountability. I don't think you can ask any more, whether it's pre-season or league football or Champions League football. At the moment, he's doing everything we would ask of him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've just been told to calm down. I get excited when Celtic sign a player at 1.7 who looks the real deal. Tony C, he comes in. Nygren is going to be sensational for us. It ball sticks to him like glue. Mo Sislak says, Tony, calm down. John Sweeney, you're back in. After that first half, Yang's girlfriend needs to stay in Glasgow. We're going to be talking about Yang. Yang, he's an enigma, right? Wrapped in a riddle. Honestly, he's one of these guys that I had kind of made my mind up about him. And then there was a spell last season where, remember the wee clutch of games, he had a purple patch and it was assists and it was goals. And then he got injured after that. He comes back for the Scottish Cup final, and maybe harshly, I was critical of his performance. And I say maybe harshly because he obviously had that contraption on his arm, yes, having injured himself. And I was coming into this pre-season fully of the view that Yang can leave. Yang can go the same way as Tilio, and he can go the same way as all the other players in that transfer window. But there is something about Yang that I don't know if he's playing. Listen, he might be playing for a move. I don't know. But in this pre-season in particular, I think he has bulked up. There's a physicality about him that he needed. He's not perfect, absolutely not. I actually think he needs to cover Ralston a wee bit better for their goal, leading up to their goal. Ralston, it's a 2-on-1 situation. Yang's late to the party. I'm not blaming Yang. I'm just saying he's not perfect defensively at the moment, Chris.
Well, I think there was a great contrasting example towards the end of the first half there, when Maeda runs back and covers for Tierney, who'd ventured up the park, and Maeda comes back and actually wins possession back for the team. Yang, I think, is the talent's definitely there. He's got some really good characteristics, good pace. He's got a bit of physicality. Some chucking a couple of fouls there, which was actually nice to see. He was kind of getting stuck in quite a bit. He's definitely prepared to take on a man. So I like the element of bravery that comes from him. And you know what? The finish was very, very composed. So absolute credit there. I think he's still a bit raw to be considered, a first team pick. Could he establish himself as a member of the squad? Still a bit to prove for me. But do you know what? If the manager has faith in Yang that he can make the step up this season. I mean, it's his second season now. Got a bit of football towards the end of last season. Parts more successful than others. I think if he continues to develop under the manager, and the manager's prepared to work with him and develop him, then there's definitely a player there. But you're right. One of the elements our system relies on is that our wingers can get back to support the wing backs, and whether that be Ralston or Katie or whoever. Maeda is very, very good at that. So I think if Yang can develop that side of his game, which we pinpointed was one of his weaker elements last season, if he can build in that element in his game and continue to develop his forward game, where his distribution, his goal scoring, getting inside the play, making himself available, doing that kind of thing that Abada was always famous for doing, which is getting in behind and arriving late in the box, then for me there's absolutely a place for him. But look, again, similar to what we said with Nygren, let's temper expectations. It's pre-season. Yang has to do it, as Jim Morris fond of saying, on a rainy afternoon in Dingwall. You know, that's where Yang's got to show that he can step up and play in this team.
That saying, I don't know where the saying came from, but the first time I ever heard that saying was when we were, when we were trying to sign David Ginola, and there was a meeting, and
That's where
Felix McCann uttered those words. Can he do it? You know, can he do it on a wet Tuesday night at Brockville? It was. So I don't know if it was one of the things in Scottish chat when it came to football, but that was certainly the first time me hearing it. Anyway, in terms of Yang, to finish that, I am giving him praise. I wasn't just looking at, I wasn't looking at the negatives. I'm giving him praise. There's a bit to go. It was just that thing that he said in relation to, he is willing to explore other opportunities. Craig McMicken, thank you very much for getting involved. Cheers for you for contributing to what Acsom does. Just a wee taster of what we're doing over the next few days. We do have This Is Acsom. It's an extremely special edition of This Is Acsom because it is hitherto unseen archive footage that we have unearthed from the Save Ourselves meeting in the February of 1991 in Shettleston Hall. We're going to be playing this this is actually part 2. The first part was Jim Orr doing an incredible half hour where he basically told us the genesis of Save Ourselves. This is meeting number 1, February 1991. The speakers are Joe Beltrami, they are Brian Dempsey, Willie Wilson himself. An unbelievable bit of footage, and I spot quite a lot of people in the crowd who might be watching this over the weekend thinking, there's me, way here, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a cracking episode. It might actually reach the screen on a Saturday rather than the Friday, but it does give us a wee bit more content over the weekend. I also have an interview with the two guys who made Ange and the Boss, a documentary, which we are giving its Scottish film premiere on Saturday night. So I've got a wee interview from Australia with they guys. That'll go out over the weekend as well. So stay tuned. If you don't do so already, get yourself onto the channel, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, disagree, tell me to calm down, do all that stuff. Acsom, you're here and you're always here. You're lost without you. It's appreciated. Graceful Shambles, it's appreciated from this side. This is what it's all about. Celtic fans talking Celtic. You and Boy Martin, he does deserve praise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So does Yang.
I think we're just giving it.
Because, he's a player. This is his third season he's going into. He's actually going into his third season as a Celtic player. And if you were to compare his first two, well, his second was better than his first. So you see a player who's moving in the right direction. If you were to compare him to someone like Palmer, who has all this technical skills in the world, and it's interesting for me that Brendan would favour the guy that applies himself, the guy that's got the attitude, the guy that's willing to learn, adapt. Yeah. So you can maybe compare those two wingers at the football club. One might have a future, one certainly does not have a future, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of looking at it. I mean, I think that my belief would be that Brendan's looking at Yang and saying, I can develop you. I can see the areas where you can improve, and I know how to get the improvements out of you. Now, again, let's not put the boy under undue pressure. It takes time to develop those elements of your game, and I think there are certain deficiencies in his game. We've pointed to them in matches in the past season. His maybe inability to read a game or track back the way we need him to, and that's a big part of the system Brendan plays. But if anyone's going to bring those elements into fruition, it's going to be Brendan, right? He knows what he needs from a player, and if Yang's shown the application to improve, I think managers will respond to that. So, yeah, I think absolutely. I would love to see him get the chance. I do think it's a little bit similar to Ida. The big challenge on Yang is, can he perform well on a consistent basis? That's the big challenge. It's a big challenge on every player, right? But I think for Yang and players like Aramida, who are dividing, the support quite a bit, there's so many diverse views on them. I think that's the big challenge on them, is to do it week on week, home and away, in good conditions, bad conditions, where it's pouring rain, windy, and the ball's moving all over the place. That's where they've got to step up and show their mettle.
Yeah, you're right. James is sold. I think this could be Yang's breakout season, says Jamie Latimer. Hope we keep him. That again, who knows? We've seen the AI image and it's the tongues wagging. There is apparent interest from Norwich City and Yang. What kind of price are we looking at? Because you know what the board are like. They look at the model, Chris. They say, oh, you know, we brought him in for 2.1. We've got a £3.5 million bid, and they just see that as good business and it justifies the strategy as well. Listen, the second half's about to kick off. It's been action-packed in a 15-minute half-time break. Go and enjoy the second half. We'll be here at full time on a Celtic State of Mind.
On the hoops.